I just give the earth my soul. Hear my thoughts bounce off the walls. Help my writing heal the hole. Use my heart to stop the fall. Oh, I know when I'm scared that I need to reach out, but how? My life is a scrabble of words. They don't add up, and I can't be heard. Count my dreams.
I think we all forget sometimes how fleeting our lives are and how impermanent everything is. I tend to get quite bogged down in details of the little things and worrying about the finer things that might happen, but really all of it is just such a blessing. And I don't know, this is kind of what this video is about. It's about impermanence. It's about how our time on this earth is fleeting but still valuable, and that both of those things are true because of each other. So I hope you enjoy. Sadly, the first thing that is too fleeting is my lunch break. So I actually need to head back to my desk and finish off the last bit of this Friday working from home. But honestly, this is like the first day we've had blue skies in such a long time, so I am thoroughly enjoying this and making the most of it today, even though this is an incredibly muddy path that I'm walking along.
Something's wrong. I don't feel at home, but I'll stand up on my own, even with my two left feet.
So something else that is along these lines is the idea of not actually being able to do everything that you believe that you're able to do. And this kind of sounds like a bit of counterintuitive self-help, like telling you that you're limited and you can't actually achieve everything you want to. But actually it kind of is really freeing, because it means that you realise that life is finite and you can't actually do everything you want to, even if you tried. So it kind of begs the question, okay, so then what actually is important to me? And that's what this book is all about. It's called 4,000 Weeks. It's by Oliver Burkeman. It's actually the second time I'm reading it. I read this first in, I think, like 2021, and I've picked it up again because I just remember absorbing so much goodness and wisdom and it really like having an impact on my life. And since I've forgotten these lessons, so I'm reading it again, and I wanted to read you a little passage. So this part is about getting real. And he says, "If you really thought life could never end, then nothing could ever genuinely matter, because you'd never be faced with having to decide whether or not to use a portion of your precious life on something. If I believed my life would last forever, I could never take my life to be at stake," he writes, "and I would never be seized by the need to do anything with my time. Eternity would be deathly dull, because whenever you found yourself wondering whether or not to do anything on any given day, the answer would always be, who cares? After all, there's always tomorrow, the next day, and the one after that." So I think the point that this is trying to get at, if it's not already obvious, is that by the fact of time being limited, it actually adds an inherent value onto your time and means that your life can mean something. The family holidays that you spent as a kid have since vanished, and that makes them more precious and inherently valuable to you. the time that you get off as annual leave is limited, and so that makes it inherently valuable to you. I'm not saying I wouldn't want more annual leave, but anyway, that is what I've been thinking about, and I love this book, so I wanted to share that and add that into this video because it's so important, and I think it's like pretty fundamental to the idea of choice. Welcome to Saturday. So, as we've established, your time is finite and it's kind of impossible to do everything that you want to do. So that then begs the question of what is then worth my time? What should I actually do with my time, and what is a good use of my time according to me? And I think that's such an important question to ask yourself, because otherwise you're just going through life. You might be choosing to do things based on other people's definitions of what constitutes a good life, and for me at the moment, this kind of like new chapter of my life feels pretty undefined, and I haven't really like sat down in the last month or so since I've moved here and actually worked out what's important to me. And so that's kind of meant that I'm just like going through the motions a little bit. I was saying the other day to Freya that I just kind of feel like my life's not really my own at the moment. Like, I'm having a good time. My life is pretty good. There's nothing like wrong as such, but it feels like I'm not quite present, I'm not quite there, and I'm not really like choosing what I want to spend my time doing. So this morning I'm going to try and do a little bit of a values check-in, work out what actually matters to me. I kind of need to work out what is the most important thing and what I actually really want to spend my free time doing, and what can be let go of and should be let go of in order to make time for what's most important. Otherwise I will just like, I'm the sort of person I want to do lots of things, and I kind of try to have my fingers in like lots of pies at the same time and to be working on different projects, but actually it doesn't work, because then I'm not quite achieving anything and like feeling like I'm a bit behind on all of the different aspects of my life. So I need to have a bit of a consolidation and actually work out what are the few things, and it will be limited, which is hard. It's like frustrating how limited it is, but that's life. And in order to actually live a life that feels meaningful to me, I need to commit to certain things, and that means letting other things go. So I kind of want to check in on where I'm at, what's important to me in this chapter of my life, because also it can change. Like, you don't have to be fixed on these things forever, but I think this is actually going to really help me to feel like I'm living my life a little bit more purposefully. I'll share the questions that I'm using on screen and maybe talk you through some of my reflections. So I've used a little help from Pinterest just to get some core values and some like passions on there, and the kind of exercise is just picking your top three. So I think I've established that my top three core values are integrity, wellness, and creativity. I think integrity is important because to me that kind of means like acting in alignment consistently with the kind of emotional response that you're going to have, particularly in relationships, friendships. Being someone who's reliable, dependable is really important to me, and I think this kind of also goes for like the relationship I have with myself as well, being reliable in my own emotional response, which is probably more tricky and more challenging. Sometimes I'm like so hard on myself, and I'm really trying to work on that at the moment, is being a bit like softer and kinder with the way that I speak to myself. Wellness, this kind of encompasses like health, having movement in my life, kindness as well to myself, and detachment from ego, because I think a holistic wellness to me includes very strongly like mental health and being calm, being able to sit in my own company without needing to run away from it. And to be fair, at the moment that is kind of tricky and something that I'm again like working on. And then creativity, because to me this is what gives life texture and colour and depth and meaning, and really just enjoy creative projects. I love making things. I love that kind of form of self-expression. Those are my top 3 values. And then in terms of passions, which is more what I want to spend my time doing, I've put writing, video making and yoga. It's just some things that I find really fun, but I would also kind of cheating. I really want to get into a bit more physical kind of craft projects like scrapbooking, painting a bit more. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into central London and have a little explore, have a bit of a solo date for a few hours and just, yeah, enjoy being in London, because this is like why I live here, you know?
Made it to Regent's Park. I love being this side of the river in London because there's just so many more lovely parks, and I can already tell when it comes to summer I'm gonna absolutely love coming around here and making the most of it. So I'm gonna have a little walk around just to soak up the Saturday. Very much enjoying this. So I've just sat and had a bit of lunch. I feel like London makes you averse to bringing a packed lunch with you because it's just like always an option. But yeah, it was nice, just sat in the park and had my little sandwich. And now I'm gonna head to Daunt Books, which is like my favourite bookshop in London, at least of the ones that I know. It's just so cute. So I haven't been there in literally ages, and I'm gonna go and have a look around there now, which very excited about.
Take a look out the window. Spirit goes up as the rain falls down. I've been sailing on the wrong course, keeping it together like I did before. Think that I've said this a few times. Even with that, has it ever felt right? I swear that this has happened every moment. Can I just be honest? I was only wondering, and maybe we could take it to a different conversation. Things will get uncomfortable, but only if we make it. I just wanna say that, but you'd rather take it all back.
Daunt Books might be my favourite bookshop, but it turns out it's everyone else's as well. So that was incredibly packed and a little bit stressful. We're now heading over to Bloomsbury area.
I get lost, you go with your day. Slowly get closer, but you're moving away. I know it's just a recap, but I'm sure you'll never see that. Rather take it all back. Maybe it's time to get home. Think that it's going a little too far.
So I'm back from town now, and I want to talk to you about the idea of paying yourself first, which again is from 4,000 Weeks. These are very much Oliver Burkeman's ideas and thoughts, but just it's also great, and I kind of want to talk about this idea of paying yourself first. So I'm going to say it in my own words and also read you some from 4,000 Weeks. So it's very similar to the idea of putting some money away from your paycheck into savings at the start of the month rather than at the end of the month, because at the start of the month you have that money in your account, you can put it away, squirrel it away, and you won't really like feel the pain of it being gone. Whereas at the end of the month, you might have, you know, made purchases throughout the month with that money in your pot, so you haven't kind of like set aside any money especially, and then by the end of the month you're like, oh well, whatever I have left over I'll put into my savings, and by the end of the month normally you have none left. So it's kind of this idea of, if you have the resource at the beginning, put it into something that is an investment in yourself, aka your savings or any other form of investment in yourself, and then therefore you're gonna
have actually done it. Whereas if you get to the end of the month, it's like an afterthought and it might be already gone. And that's the same for using our time as well. So if we have something that we really want to do, a creative project, spending time with our loved ones, doing fitness, exercise, movement, whatever it might be, if we do that at the start of our day or allot some time to it that we can like consistently commit to throughout our week, then that's gonna enable us to actually do the damn thing. So I'm gonna read you a little bit from 4,000 Weeks. If you try to find time for your most valued activities by first dealing with all of the other important demands on your time in the hope that there'll be some left over at the end, you'll be disappointed. So if a certain activity really matters to you, a creative project say, though it could just as easily be nurturing a relationship or activism in the service of some cause, the only way to be sure it will happen is to do some of it today. No matter how little, no matter how many genuinely other big tasks may be begging for your attention. After years of trying and failing to make time for her illustration work, by taming her to-do list and shuffling her schedule, Abel saw that her only viable option was to claim time instead, just to start drawing for an hour or two every day and to accept the consequences, even if those included neglecting other activities she sincerely valued. If you don't save a bit of your time now, out of every week, as she puts it, there is no moment in the future when you'll be magically done with everything and you'll have loads of free time. At the core of this lies the simple insight. If you plan to spend some of your 4,000 weeks doing what matters to you most, then at some point you're just going to have to start doing it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been some kind of useful motivation or insight, and yeah, I've really enjoyed filming this one, especially today. It's been so much fun and I'm so glad that I actually just made the time for this today. Same sort of thing, you know, it's so easy to let it slip like I have in the last few weeks, but it feels, yeah, really, really nice. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, leave me a comment as to which was your favourite, part 1, part 2, part 3, and I'll be sure to reply to your comment. Love to hear them. But yeah, have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, whatever you're up to. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more from me in the future.